Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between LOF Myth versus, I believe, Space here on Secret Valley. We see Space spawning as the yellow undead player on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, on the bottom left-hand side, we do have Myth spawning as the blue human. And what did I just drop? I don't know. Okay, it looks like I just dropped a pen. Hold on one moment. Alright, you guys don't really need to hear about me talking about how great it is to be WarCraft Wednesday. I know a lot of you guys look forward to the weekly WarCraft 3 cast. And I do too, and we'll see how many viewers actually start to watch these videos, and maybe at some point if I can get 8 to 10,000 viewers per video, I'll consider going up to 2 videos a week, but it all depends on you guys out there. If you guys want to watch more games and have me commentate them, then that is great. WarCraft 3 style, a little bit better for play-by-play, as there is a lot more micro than general overall strategies. The strategies are pretty much set in stone already. Tech switches are very unheard of in WarCraft 3. Also, hero switches are completely impossible, making it so that if the hero is the focus of your army, you're pretty much going to be going down, and once you start down a path, it is very, very difficult to change. So one of the strengths and weaknesses of WarCraft 3 over, say, StarCraft 2, where a lot of players say that the games seem kind of stale, well, as soon as you see a specific opening, very rarely do you ever see a tech switch. I think the last time I saw a tech switch was at BlizzCon 2010, Grubby versus Moon, where he went from Huntresses into Druids of the Talon in that Night Elf versus Orc matchup, and that turned out to be a very, very long game. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look into what's happening over here. Myth is opening up with an Archmage, already has a very early scout tower, so this is rather unusual. Not quite sure why Myth already deciding to get that early scout tower. There is also one Acolyte down over here, so that Acolyte is going to be trying to absorb or perhaps trying to pad all of those units there, and there you see the Null Overseer coming in, trying to, or tanking a lot of that damage already. Will this one Acolyte get the kill? And I do not believe it got the kill. No, it did not. The Null Overseer will get taken down, and it looks as though the Acolyte who tried to steal some experience will not be able to do so, but there is a lot of poison damage spread across all of these poor militia who now need to run back home and get inside the safety of the base. Death Knight now coming in as well. The Death Knight may look to try to do a bit of harassment, but that Arcane Tower with that feedback damage will also push back any of these skeletal minions as well, so very, very nicely done. Meanwhile, back in the base of Space, he is already getting the creature attack upgrade, so that means we will be getting Fiends and lots of them. Fiends are very, very strong against a human player, as Fiends coupled with Destroyers are very difficult to take down. The Destroyers just absolutely rip through those Knights and those Footmen. Meanwhile, those Fiends can take a lot of that damage and also get healed a lot by that Death Knight. Death Knight now continuing to come in over here. The Death Knight is sitting at level 1. Archmage is sitting at level 2, but it's still fairly even. The reason behind that is that the Death Knight normally doesn't begin to really start creeping until much later on. That skeletal minion does get taken down. The Death Knight, really all he can try to do right now is try to prevent his opponent from creeping freely, but it looks like pretty much Myth has been able to do everything he wants so far. It looks like this one Acolyte down to 128 hit points. It looks like the Militia Arc trying to come in as well. The Death Knight may be able to get off a steal. Yes, able to get off one steal from experience there. Now waiting for the Death Coil cooldown. Continuing this fight once more, you can see the skeletal minions are taking a little bit more damage. The Ogre Warrior will get taken down. Level 2 still on that Archmage. The Archmage going to be in a little bit of trouble right now, as the Archmage doesn't want to get any of these level 5 or level 4 creeps low on hit points, as that Death Knight definitely has enough energy or enough mana for a Death Coil. You can see now a quick kill there, another Cloak of Shadows being picked up, and now all that's really going to happen is that the Fiends are now going to try to come back in as well. The Death Knight still sitting at level 1, may get some experience off the Water Elemental. It looks like it did not. It was denied by the Footman, and now the Militia going to come back in once more. Still level 5 Ogre Magi now going to get surrounded by Militia once more. Will the Death Knight be able to get off that all-important shot? No, it will not still, as now it looks like a couple ghouls will get destroyed. Militia now about to get taken down. Will it be enough? It looks like it is going to come in for the Death Coil, and yes, it was stolen by Space. So Space able to steal the experience there. It looks like Myth may be able to get to level 3 anyways if it's able to perhaps take down some of these skeletal minions. It looks like a skeletal minion will get taken down. No defend on those footmen at all. Oh yes, now defend on that one footman, able to push back a lot of that damage as the Archmage now sitting at level 2. Desperately wants to get to level 3, a level 2 water elemental, so much more powerful, a lot more damage, a lot more hit points, as that Death Knight now just very happy to have Unholy Aura trying to keep up his army alive, and there's a Death Coil keeping up that one particular Crypt Fiend. The Crypt Fiend does have level 1 weapons upgrade, and also, curiously enough, has the backpack upgrade. So yes, the backpack upgrade is in play. The Arcane Tower now coming into play as well. Myth deciding to finally drop a water elemental anyways. And this is going to become a very strange battle as the Death Knight now going to push in head on, try to take down this Arcane Tower. The Arcane Tower now absorbing a lot of damage already, going to quickly get cancelled as it is light armored. A nice Death Coil from long distance, keeping up one of those ghouls as the footmen are currently... Oh, a nice denial once more by Myth. So Myth taking down 2 of his water elementals for himself in order to deny experience. Space now still barely sitting at level 2, trying to pull back once again. So that it will be able to pull back here. We are getting up to Halls of the Dead as the what the Death Knight does he have web? I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see. I don't think he has web just quite yet, so he will not be able to take down this Drake as the water elemental now coming back in from the far side, trying to make sure that the Death Knight does not get to heal up as freely as it wants. The footmen are in defend mode, so they are taking reduced damage, but still, when 5 Crypt Fiends are focusing down a unit, a lot of damage can still be dealt. Another water elemental getting destroyed, as I believe, yes, the Death Knight did get experience from the footman, if not the water elemental there. And you can now see the Death Knight is very, very low on hit points. It may get purged, and if it gets purged, it is going to get stuck there. A nice Cloak of Shadows used by the Archmage right now, as that Archmage just holding into that position. The footmen, because of their defend, able to absorb a lot of the damage that is being dealt by these creeps. You can see now the Death Knight coming back around the corner, trying to regroup with the rest of this army. All of these militia are dangerously low on hit points, as we now see another scout tower will get destroyed. It looks like some feedback damage onto some of those skeletal minions. Level 3 finally on the Archmage of Myth, as Myth will be able to finally drop those all-important level 2 water elementals. Much more difficult to take down, but it also gives more experience as well. Myth continuing to push this attack back over here. Constant fighting in between these two armies so far. This low hit point footman is reflecting some of that damage back. It looks like it will get down to 50 hit points and then perhaps return back over here, hide amongst the towers, and perhaps we will get an arcane vault sometime soon, as I still do not see one as of yet. Crypt Fiends now once again running back home, perhaps trying to get back onto that Blight. The Death Knight fighting on Blight definitely gives a stronger hit point regeneration onto those Crypt Fiends. You can see with the Unholy Aura and that natural regeneration on that Blight, the Crypt Fiends are just generating about 1.5 hit points a second, almost as quick as a ring of regeneration for the entire army. Archmage now going to be coming in to try to creep this out, and it looks like it is going to be able to pull away that Red Drake. As soon as that Red Drake is a little bit too far away, that Red Drake will just take a lot of damage, and that Water Elemental also shooting. So this is one of those tactics very, very common in high-level human play. Archmage tanking the damage from that Red Drake, Water Elemental joining in on the fight as well. All of these footmen will be able to focus down these units here. Meanwhile, Death Knight sitting at level 2 still does not have a partner in crime yet. No additional hero. Or did I speak too soon? No, there is a Dark Ranger at the bottom. So yes, the Dark Ranger. I was looking for a Lich, didn't see it. Death Knight does have a lot of healing going on, and now leaving behind a Manual of Health. Not quite sure why high-level players do that. And a Cloak of Shadows is also left behind, as we do get additional +1 armor aura. Not the best item at all, as now Space trying to push in with this one Dark Ranger. There are a lot of towers. The towers may fall rather quickly. As you can see, these 2 guard towers are currently being built, and it looks like this guard tower may get taken down. What about this guard tower here? No, it does not look like it, as the Arcane Tower now down to 500 or 300, 200 hit points. It looks like it will get destroyed. Down it goes, and now in comes the footman and the rest of this army. A Scroll of Healing should be used by that Death Knight and sometime soon. Death Coil, no Death Coil just quite yet, as the Crypt Fiends are now trying to focus down some of those units, but the defended footmen are rather slow. There's that Death Coil. As we mentioned earlier, the footmen are moving rather slowly still, as the Archmage is now being pushed back. You can see that the Crypt Fiends are trying to run away. 2 low hit point Crypt Fiends returning back home. The Crypt Fiends here are in a little bit of a trouble as they are backed up against some trees. And if all of these units get taken down... Oh, a quick burrow. Nicely done, a burrow by the Crypt Fiend. Gonna save a lot of those lower hit point units, and there another burrow coming in. So 2 low hit point, 3 low hit point Crypt Fiends, as we now see an Obsidian statue join in on that fight. The low hit point footman does get taken down, and now with the statue here, that is going to be a lot of damage that will naturally get that will get healed back up. As you can see, 1 guard tower will get destroyed, another guard tower gonna get destroyed or canceled, as well as this 1 guard tower dangerously low. It looks like it will get destroyed. It looks as though Space is doing a good job with this push, already taking down 2 of the towers, but there are still more towers to be had, as now a fight coming in from behind. Mountain King joins in on this fight. He still has enough for a Stormbolt, Stormbolting that Death Knight. Death Knight now a little bit low on hit points, gonna be a little bit of trouble as the Crypt Fiends are gonna once again re-engage, but the militia are being called to arms, or the peasants are being called to arms, and now the fights are just being brought out. The Obsidian statue needs to make its way back. The Crypt Fiends are dangerously low once again, as Myth trying to continue this chase. This 1 low hit point Obsidian statue may get destroyed, coming straight through the middle of the fight. Now the militia does get taken down there. Footmen also trying to fight back, and I do not see any destroyers yet. Destroyers would drastically change the state of the game, as the Obsidian statues would instantly turn into a destroyer and then start dealing damage after devouring the magic on those water elementals, dealing a lot of damage to those footmen, preventing or allowing those Crypt Fiends to deal and focus down onto those water elementals instead. 3 level 2 Crypt Fiends just having their way into this army so far. It looks like more burrow coming into play once again by Space. Space doing a good job keeping these units alive, as that footman now trying to run back once more. Sorry, not that footman, the water elemental and the Mountain King running back once again. Still only 1 Obsidian statue. This water elemental will get taken down. Level 2 on the Dark Ranger, level 3 on that Death Knight. But you also know that Myth is currently running off of and starting to store up a lot of gold. He will be able to get up a lot of gold in just a moment, as more towers are once again being rebuilt. This 1 tower will get canceled, as the skeletal minions once again try to push in all of this off of that dark arrow from the Dark Ranger, as now in comes the Mountain King and some Spellbreakers. Spellbreakers now being added to the mix there, as we are going to see some feedback damage onto that Obsidian statue. The Spellbreaker dealing a lot of damage to the Obsidian statue, as a quick burrow, but not in time. Was he revealed? Not quite sure how, as the Spellbreakers continuing this push back against all of these Crypt Fiends. So now with those Crypt Fiends out, with those Spellbreakers out, these Crypt Fiends are not going to be nearly as effective. We are now going into a Lich as well, so we may get some hero nuking, but it's only going to be effective on the heroes itself. It is not going to be effective against the Spellbreakers. Spellbreakers are immune to magic. Spellbreakers going to perhaps steal some Bloodlust and some Inner Fire as well. Spellbreakers now focusing down, trying to take down that Ogre Lord. The Ogre Lord taking a lot of feedback damage already. Django of Endurance, which means, what is that? An Endurance or a faster movement speed and faster attack speed. A very nice ability, as we now get Bash onto Myth as Myth's Mountain King as well. It will be able to bash even more readily, or more often, as that Django of Endurance does increase its attack speed ever so slightly. I believe it's 10% at the 10 or 15% based upon the level of endurance aura. I'll have to check that for you, as we are now seeing that the human army going to start creeping out this 1 fountain over here, and this is going to be very, very good for Myth once again, as he's going to be able to creep out this creep camp very easily. You can see feedback, all that damage being done to the Null Warden, and now it is going to be the tri-hero of the Undead versus the dual hero of Myth. But Myth does have a level 4 Archmage. The Mountain King may get to level 3. Yes, level 3 Mountain King. Very, very dangerous hero in his own right. And now picking up, wow, a Vampiric or a Scourge Bone Chimes as well. So the Mountain King will be able to perhaps drain some life. I do not believe the Spellbreakers count as a melee attack, even though it is rather short range. It means that they will not be able to able to regenerate hit points per attack there, as Myth is able to do with his Mountain King. We are now going to get a bit of a creep jack here. Death Knight sitting at level 3, Dark Ranger sitting at level 3. Both sides are fighting out. The low hit point Water Elemental may get destroyed in just a moment. Dark Ranger taking a lot of feedback damage. That is a very, very dangerous, as the Spellbreaker is now focusing onto the Obsidian statues, those Obsidian statues, and now the Death Knight using a potion of invulnerability, still surrounded. So this is going to be a definite issue, as it is trying to, it uses Death Pack once again, trying to break free from this location, uses a potion of healing, but once again getting pushed back in and finally being forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. Will this one Spellbreaker get taken down? No, down to 2 hit points, even with the corruption able to stay alive. Archmage sitting at level 4, and now that Mountain King sitting at level 3. That Death Knight used Death Pact on a couple of his units, and that may not have been the best choice at all. As we now see the Lich sitting at level 2 finally. We may get some Frost Armor as well. That would have definitely helped in that previous engagement. But Space really needs to try to take up another expansion. Meanwhile, Myth about to get to level 5 on that Archmage, perhaps level 4 on that Mountain King, continuing to creep out this location here. Shockwave, it looks like Inner Fire may get stolen, as well as that Ogre Lord getting focused down rather quickly. Dust of Appearance quickly dropped, not quite sure why. Oh, no more item locations, as what was the item that was dropped? It looks like it was Warsong Battle Drums. So Myth using every aura that I can imagine right now, except for Unholy Aura. He has, Devotion Aura, Django Aura, Endurance Aura, Vampiric Aura, and Devotion Aura with Brilliance Aura. I think that is every aura. No, you guys are going to be able to think of an aura that I am not thinking of. Unholy, besides Unholy Aura, I'm sure there's gotta be one of those out there that I'm thinking about. As the Mountain King, the Mountain King providing 2 auras, the Archmage currently providing 1, 2, 3. 3 auras as well. So there's got to be one more aura that I'm not thinking about. Anyways, the Lich now continuing to try to move around. It looks like the Abomination gonna quickly get stunned. 5-second stun, but a long distance death coil trying to keep it alive. It looks like it may stay alive. No, it does not. All that effort and that 75 mana, and then in comes another Stormbolt. That Mountain King on a rampage, running through this undead army. Another Stormbolt. No, a bash in time to save it. Oh no, it will get destroyed. Another Stormbolt may be coming in, and there goes another Ghoul. And that is so much damage, as the Paladin, the human tri-hero, is now coming into play. And Myth is looking to be in a very, very strong position into the mid, perhaps even the end game now. Human tri-hero, one of the strongest 3-hero combinations, especially against Undead, where the Paladin can also lend a hand with that Holy Light and try to deal some damage. You can see Claws of Attack +6 and Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3, all very, very free items for that Paladin. That Paladin going to be even more difficult to take down if they are actually picked up. No, they're not going to be picked up. So that Paladin apparently doesn't even have a Staff of Sanctuary. And as I mentioned this, yes, there is one Arcane Vault, and a little curious as to why there is not a Staff of Sanctuary. One of the best abilities for the human is how difficult it is to try to take down any of their units once they are, once you have perhaps a level 2 or level 3 Paladin plus the Holy Light. Now, that Paladin, I am curious as to whether or it will just most likely get Divine Shield, and it will be invulnerable for a rather long time. We'll see what's going to be happening here. There's not many creep camps left, only these green creep camps left. Not really worth fighting for at this point, as a skeletal minion now simply going to walk its way out and quickly get destroyed, as the Mountain King going to perhaps try to engage here. You can see that there is one Obsidian statue, no destroyers yet, as those destroyers are not going to be able to deal any damage to those Spellbreakers. The Abominations, however, very, very strong against those Spellbreakers, dealing normal damage, but the Spellbreakers are upgraded 3/3 with 10 armor, with a 38% damage reduction. That is a lot of damage reduced, and we'll see what's going to continue to happen here, as now a quick Holy Light onto that Spellbreaker. That Spellbreaker still surviving, as we now see that Water Elemental taking a bit of damage, and now that Water Elemental may get destroyed. No, it is not going to get destroyed, but it looks as though it will simply be denied. We'll see 3 heroes versus 3 heroes. Massive number of guard towers now being constructed over here at the 6 o'clock position. This is going to be very difficult to break if it doesn't in fact go down. There are no meat wagons that I know of. As a ghoul now simply runs up the ramp, sees what's going on up there, and he does not like what he sees at all. Crypt Fiend's now finally getting that web upgrade. Abomination quickly trying or getting focused down. A 5-second stun plus a bash. So much damage. Water elementals are low on hit points, and these guard towers are about to be completed, but no, they are going to get focused down. But that means that the skeletal, or that all of these units are going to get focused down quickly as well. The Death Knight sitting at level 4, and then the Archmage sitting at level 5. Both sides, there is a Staff of Sanctuary, on the Archmage that I had forgotten about earlier. Guard towers are now up. Silence onto the Mountain King and the Paladin. Those heroes are being forced to pull back. A Staff of Sanctuary being used on a Spellbreaker, as that one Death Knight, dangerously low on hit points, now being forced to pull all the way back home. Will it be enough? It looks like the Death Knight is also very, very low, but the Paladin at level 1 dies. The Mountain King, because of the boot of speed and that Jango Endurance, are faster than that Death Knight, and the level 4 Death Knight fails, and that may be the beginning of the end, as that Mountain King now going to pretty much go unchallenged throughout the rest of this battle. We have a level 2 Lich, and a Death Knight, it gets resurrected, but gonna get bashed, may get stunned once more. It looks like it will get stunned. No, a quick silence onto the Mountain King and a Frost Nova, but in comes the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability to remove that cold aura there. Dark Ranger, now dangerously low, once again needs to return home. Spellbreakers continuing that chase. That Lich so far has gotten off a couple critical Frost Novas and slowed down the attack. Now back over here, what happened? Dark Ranger does get taken down once again at level 3. Mountain King probably having a hand in that fight there. Level 5 Mountain King with level 2 Brilliance Aura stacked on him. And that Mountain King is an absolute beast, able to constantly... Death Coil on, but a Staff of Sanctuary comes into play, saving the Mountain King. And now in comes this Death Knight. The Death Knight desperately trying to chase after this Archmage. Archmage down to 215 hit points. Death Knight wants to finish it off. It looks like more damage is still being had here. The Archmage is now down to 195 hit points as the Death Knight realizes that he cannot keep up with him. And even if he did get that Death Coil off, it would not be enough. And now picking up a Cloak of Shadows for himself. Death Knight now healing over here at the fountain. It looks like a Staff of Sanctuary and a Scroll of Regeneration bought for a second hero. So the Paladin going to be able to Staff of Sanctuary as well. As we now are going to see another battle happening over here at the fountain. The Spellbreakers going to be the better army in this fight. But in comes the Abomination trying to deal some damage as well. The Abomination though, currently sitting at only level 1 weapons upgrade, and the Crypt Fiends are sitting at level 2. Both sides are continuing to fight. The Lich is very low on hit points once again, down to 255. A Stormbolt and a Holy Light would take it down. Another Staff of Sanctuary saving another hero once again, as Myth with 2 Staff of Sanctuaries can essentially keep all of his heroes and all of his units alive and no longer feed any more experience. Another Crypt Fiend not burrowing in time. As this Crypt Fiend, is it going to burrow in time? No, it does not get burrowed in time. Another 5-second stun from the Mountain King, and the damage has been dealt. The Mountain King almost getting to level 6 already. We are haunting a gold mine over here. We can see a flying machine is keeping track of this, and now in comes this Mountain King. The Mountain King wants to deny as much mana as possible, as much gold as possible. Gonna quickly take this location out, as Myth is now finally going into Knights. A Knight is a very, very safe call at this point, as he hasn't seen any destroyers at all. We can see some peasants now making their way off to the north. This expansion down over here pretty much being mined freely, as well as now you see massive number of guard towers have been constructed by Myth. Myth only has one option and one option only to expand, and that is down over here. He is currently out of gold. All he can really do is try to unsummon some gold mines in order to get some, or unsummon some buildings in order to re-establish his gold mine here. Things are looking very, very bad right now. As you can see that the Death Knight is just lying in wait, waiting for that final battle. Food count 32 over 60 compared to 67 over 84. That is not good at all. The Paladin finally going to pick up some additional items to help him with his cause and his fight, dealing plus 12 damage. Death Knight hoping to get a little bit more experience, but I think this is too little too late. A 4-3-2 hero combination versus a 5-5 5-5-1. Even that 5-5 is just so powerful, especially as it is a level 5 Mountain King. Whenever your second hero outlevels your opponent's primary hero, that is bad news for your opponent, as we may get a death coil in just a stun. There's the silence. The Mountain King currently sitting at level 5. Oh, it looks like a Holy Light. That Mountain King trying, or may get taken down. It is rather low on hit points, now trying to run away, and a Holy Light and death coil combination coming back in. There's a long distance Stormbolt, and Space going to lose his Death Knight as well, in addition to that Lich. And I believe the GG will be coming in just a moment. The Paladin also having a Divine Shield, and I believe that's the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Myth and Space. Myth completely taking this game here on Secret Valley.